Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're going to have a look at the changelogs which have been happening over the last week or so, just to keep you updated on the news. There isn't a ton of stuff which is very big, I suppose, but there is a little bit of stuff for the Xbox guys, and also a new system that has been added to the game from Nvidia. We start off today with the Xbox update to 2.3.0.64, and what this added for Xbox users was the New Year aerobatic smoke, which will be displayed in battles. This was fixed for PC users about a week ago, but it's good that now everybody gets access to it. Also, an original sound event has been added for flames on a player aircraft. So previously the same sound was used for flames on both a player and allied/enemy aircraft. So now it's going to be easier to distinguish between who is friend or foe. This is incredibly important, at least for a person like me, where, to be honest, my eyes aren't exactly the best. So I rely a lot on audio when it comes to War Thunder, and over the last year or so, the War Thunder has been massively improved, especially when it comes to ground, and especially when it comes to aviation. So now it's just a lot easier to work out, what's going on, basically by just listening, which is really nice. The sound of a shell hit on armor has been added to register hits of shells on a player's and allied enemy vehicles. So once again, just more audio cues, which is good. The more audio cues that we can distinguish from other ones, the better, meaning that we have more control of what's going on around us. They also added a more powerful powder charge sound for players' ground vehicle guns with a caliber of more than 57mm has been added. So this one was kind of a funny one. I was running around with a bunch of light tanks on stream with stuff such as the M56 Scorpion, and I remember sitting on a corner on the Sinai, and then I fired the gun and it sounded like a bomb had gone off, and then I realized they'd changed the gun sounds, and it did sound very meaty. The sound itself does sound a bit meaty, and at the same time, I feel like this is the first step when it comes to this powerful powder charge, because I don't think something like a 75mm should have the same sound as an 88mm, which shouldn't have the same sound as like a 128. So the fact that they've added the sound is really nice, because it means that it can be distinguished from other guns, but at the same time, I feel like it needs to just be tweaked a little bit depending on the size of the gun. The damage model of the fuel tanks on ground vehicles has been improved. After destruction, the fuel tanks disappear from the damage model. Any following hits don't cause fire or explosions. Disabled fuel tanks do not cover other modules or crew members. The animation of the fuel tank destruction has been added to the hit camera. So this is actually really cool. This is just an improvement on the damage model, which is really nice. There was a lot of vehicles, the USSR vehicles and the Chinese vehicles, which have that frontal fuel tank with the ammo behind it. It meant that if you're using heat or HESH or stuff like that, that fuel tank could eat pretty much everything. But now, once that fuel tank is hit, it's going to disappear, and then you'll be able to hit the ammunition behind it. It means that stuff such as fuel tanks will not get in the way as much of certain damage-dealing shells, which is good. It does also mean that it still will soak a shot, so you can still use it in a defensive manner, but at the same time, it's just not going to be able to take another one. I think generally this is a good move. It makes the damage model more realistic, and it just generally means that it's going to work a lot better. The next one is the server update for the 13th of the 1st, 2021, and what this one does is it fixes a bug and also adds quite a different change actually to what's going on. A bug has been fixed with the Swedish and Chinese aircraft not spawning in the enduring confrontation and also custom battle modes. So now you'll be able to see pretty much all aircraft from across the spectrum. I think this is really nice. It adds more variety to the game, and also it just means that everybody's represented. I think that's pretty good from an AI's point of view. The next change is a big one though. Terms for vehicles available for naval battle tasks have been changed. Now they match ground and air battle tasks. So easy challenge requires a vehicle of rank 2 or above. Medium and special challenges require rank 3 or above. The new rules come to effect for newly generated tasks. So this is a big change. Basically, the way it worked before, especially for generated tasks, such as special ones and also dailies, it meant that you could use vehicles over 3.0. So you were able to use, a ton of destroyers. You were able to use a ton of high, torpedo boats, which was really nice. But generally now, you are stuck with a point where if you have the medium or special tasks, you're using rank 3s, which are the majority of the time cruisers or very high-end destroyers. This means that it's made these tasks a lot harder to do. And also, at least from a personal point of view, I was using these tasks to be able to grind out my destroyers, and have some fun in the blue water side of things. But unfortunately now, I'm not going to be able to because they've changed the requirements. So they've made the requirements harder for both of these tasks, but they have brought them in line with the aviation and also the ground side of things. I'm just not entirely sure it's a great idea to do so, mainly because of the fact that you still want to try and get more people into naval, and one of the ways to do it was through the dailies and the specials. When we have events like Operation Winter, we see a massive uptick in the amount of people playing naval, and at least I see this when it comes to queue times. My queue times go to around about 20 to 30 seconds instead of 2 to 3 minutes, and now with this change, it means that a lot of people are going to be less inclined to be able to play the naval tasks, because generally the naval tasks are easier than the other tasks that are around the place, but now they're going to be harder to get for the average person. So yeah, it just kind of sucks in a way. I would rather that wasn't the case. I would rather it stayed the same that it was before, but I understand the change because it brings it in line with aviation and also ground. The festive hangar has been disabled, so now we're back to the hangar we had before. I'm wondering if they're still going to do a seasonal hangar when it comes to these things, or if they're just going to leave it how it was before. We'll have a look and see what goes on. The next one is a server update for the 14th of the 1st, 2021, and this once again fixed another bug. The bug which was fixed where AI players can use helicopters and unavailable vehicles from their research trees in enduring confrontation missions. So there was just a bunch of vehicles just wandering around which shouldn't have been there, and that to me is hilarious. I find that really funny. Like, let's just say you're in like a 3.0 EC match, you're just wandering around in, your J21 or something, and then you just see a KA-50 wandering about, or, a Draken or something. That would just be hilarious to me, but it's good that they fixed it. It basically means that, it makes more sense and it's easier to play, so that's good. EC7 with BR 9.7 and above has been added to Enduring Confrontation. EC6 now includes BR 8.0 to 9.3 vehicles. This is a big change. So when it came to EC, the way that Enduring Confrontation works, if you didn't know, it's broken into brackets. So basically you take a lineup of vehicles through a bracket, and then it's based on SP cost, what you're able to spawn in at the start of the battle. You make more SP cost, and then you're able to unlock the higher BR vehicles in your lineup. Now, the problem with this is at high tiers, there was basically 8.0 to 10.7. So if you had a lineup which was 8.0 to 9.0, you were just going to get massively shafted by the 10.3, 10.7 vehicles that existed. So now, with the way that it's set up, now with the way that we now have a new bracket, which is 9.7 to 10.7 and 8.0 to 9.3, it just makes it so it's a lot more balanced. It means that you don't have 10.7s versus 8.0s. Now the most extreme one you can get is the same extreme that you get in other game modes, which is 10.7s versus 9.7s. When it comes to the other BR bracket, the EC6, yes, it's a little bit larger. Matchmaking range from 8.0 to 9.3, but once again, it's better than 8.0 to 10.7. So this just gives a lot of vehicles a lot more breathing space. It means that they're going to be a lot more useful when it comes to the game, and I think overall that is a positive move. Technically, if you want to put it like this, a lot of people have been asking for Brd Compression. Well, there's some Brd Compression for you. You've gone from 8.0 to 10.7 to 2 distinct BR brackets, so everybody rejoice. Everything is fixed. The mechanics of Warbond awards for the Battle Pass have been improved. If a player exceeds the total allowable limit of 3,600 Warbonds, a warning message will appear. and players may either take a prize with the burning of the extra amount of war bonds or postpone it receiving the award, later spending the extra war bonds at their own discretion. So this just makes it easier, to deal with war bonds. Obviously, with the way that the Battle Pass works, I think this is good, mainly because of the fact that right now, when it comes to the war bond shop, you can have a bunch of, issues where, especially if you get past level 75 when it comes to the Battle Pass, because you just get given a ton of war bonds over and over and over again every level. Now, with the way that it works, with how it's set up, this just means that it's a lot harder to lose war bonds. So you can be as efficient as you want to be, and you can, you don't have to put in the brain power to click the button or not, or work it out, with some kind of equation. Instead, you can just let the system do it for you. So this is just a lot better on how it works compared to before. And hopefully, people have been enjoying the Battle Pass. I think overall it's been positive. I have, at least for me right now, I think I'm Battle Pass 103 or 105. I'm going for the 150, basically to get the title of it, just to show, that you can do it. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much as simple as that. Overall, doing very good with it, and I hope a lot of people are as well. The last one is 2.3.0.69, and this was on the 15th of January, and they added something called Nvidia Reflex Low Latency. Now, Nvidia Reflex Low Latency is once again some Nvidia software, and it seems to... Well, I'll read it for you verbatim. It's probably easier to do. So basically, what it does is, alongside our new GeForce RTX 30 series GPUs, we're unveiling Nvidia Reflex, a revolutionary suite of GPU G-Sync display and software technologies that measure and reduce system latency in competitive gaming, aka click-to-display latency. Reducing system latency is critical for competitive gamers because it allows the PC and display to respond faster to a user's mouse and keyboard inputs, enabling players to acquire enemies faster and take shots with greater precision. A new set of APIs for game developers to reduce and measure rendering latency by integrating directly with the game. This is the Nvidia SDK. Reflex Low Latency Mode aligns game engine work to complete just in time for rendering, eliminating the GPU render queue and reducing CPU back pressure is in GPU intensive scenes. This delivers latency reductions above and beyond existing driver only techniques such as Nvidia Ultra Low Latency Mode. So basically what it does is it makes the reaction time better from, and more precise. So if you see a target and you are moving over to it, it reduces the amount of time it's going to take you to get to it and fire. So basically reducing the latency you have to what you see on the screen from your mouse and keyboard, making your inputs better. Now, this is another Nvidia technology that War Thunder has. We just recently got the DLSS system as well, which I have been using, and I've got to say it does need a little bit of improvement, but overall it's pretty good. Hopefully this one is good as well. I don't think it will affect, a ton of people. Obviously you need the RTX 30 series of cards, which is pretty high-end right now, and at the same time as well, when it comes to it, it's not a huge change in performance from what I've seen. It just means that, people can be more precise if they want to be, which if you are, I suppose, a competitive player in War Thunder is the way to go, and will help you out quite a lot there. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Conte Baraka, Trigger Hippie, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Hosest Kishore, Hans, Bareen, and Samuel Schlick for supporting the channel.